Hello and welcome everybody to another edition of Jimmy and Hindy.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what we're going to roll with. Now, some of the suggestions, I mean, weren't really too inspiring. So if the fans of the show want to...
If you've got any ideas, shoot them through.
Keep them coming.
Yeah.
And be better
or don't. Because we don't really give a shit, to be honest with you.
We are kind of in that don't really give a shit mood.
Yeah, we're a bit slow today for a Monday. You're pink. Your lips look very pink today. Very pink lips.
Yeah.
Long night?
Yeah.
The kids. Kids kept you up.
Kids kept me up. Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah, no, all self-inflicted. All self-inflicted.
But you're allowed that. Don't feel guilty about it. It's not illegal.
Oh, I'm not. I just think it's...
Do you get sad?
Like in general or after?
After a session. Do you kind of go, oh, geez, if we should have just pulled up half a dozen earlier?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. But how do you stop having a good time? That's what I don't get.
Yeah.
Because I tell my wife, make sure you're home at a certain... But then how do you remove yourself from a fun time?
Yeah, what's the point? Like, if you're having fun, why would you not want it to continue?
But how do you tell yourself, this is so much fun, but I'm going to go home now?
Yeah, well, I'm privileging the present over the future.
Yeah, okay.
Like...
That's deep.
It is. But you know what I mean? Like, you're having a good time, so... But I reckon people that eject themselves, they're thinking about the future.
Because it could be your last time you have a good time. Like, you don't know what could happen.
Yeah.
You know? It's the world we live in. Anything could happen.
Anything could happen.
Anything.
apart from me going home early.
Have we finished waffling?
No. Keep the waffle going.
Keep the waffle. Speaking of waffles... I didn't put any in the air fryer.
Oh.
But I had some jaffles over the weekend.
What's a jaffle?
Like a jaffle maker. You know, like a toasted sandwich?
Yeah?
Yeah, but you know how you get your sandwich press? You know,
yeah.
Jaffle maker?
What's a jaffle?
Like it's a sandwich.
A type of sandwich?
Yeah, toasted sandwich.
So it's a toasted sandwich?
It is, but it's not like, you know, the sandwich press is just flat and it just eases on top. This thing jams it down.
Oh, like it cuts it into little triangles?
Yeah, that one.
Is that called a jaffle
maker?
Is
it a jaffle maker?
I don't know.
Is it right, Joe? Yeah, I'm right. Yeah.
I felt like they didn't need to name it a jaffle maker. They could have just said sandwich press.
Well, I didn't name it. So I don't.
So you've made it. That's all. That's the whole story. Is you've just made a toasted sandwich.
It just came to me then, just because they were delicious. Yeah.
What was in it?
Cheese.
Just
cheese. But you know what is good? Leftover spaghetti bolognese with cheese. You jam that thing
in the sandwich.
In it.
It's a lot of carbs.
It's the best. I don't care about carbs anymore. I've given up on that rubbish. I'll eat anything now.
Spaghetti sandwich. Toasted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think...
Oh, no. Do yourself a favour.
That is carbs for days, though, that.
But look at this. We can burn carbs off.
Yeah, true.
Well, how many beers did you have last night?
Oh, don't.
Well, that's where we're going.
That.
How many calories in a beer?
You sound like some people in my life that I want to remain, like, keep at home, and now you're bringing this chat to work.
I did try a low-carb beer the other week.
What do you reckon?
Yeah. I just stick to what I know. Yeah.
I mean, if you were really into it, you'd be just on your vodka sodas.
Well, I tried that once.
The drink of supermodels.
Yeah, I tried that, but I can't measure. You know, you start off with your normal nip, you pour, and you go, I'm going all right here. A little bit sophisticated, a little bit more responsible.
But actually pour it out into shots.
Yeah,
so it's measured.
And then by number 3, you're just pouring it in, and you're not putting any soda in it. You're just having a whole full glass of vodka and ice. Yeah, then all of a sudden the bottle's empty. And that didn't work.
So stick to beers.
Just stick to beer.
Yeah, and drink responsibly, everybody.
Of course.
Yeah, we will actually get stuck into the football. Got an announcement coming up, though. We want to hear from you, the fans. We did the Rugby League roundtable last year. Very successful. The 10 hot button topics in Rugby League hit from every angle. So we journalist, current coach, current NRL player, and current administrator. So this year we've got Shane Flanagan, Tony Mestroff, Brent Reid, Christian Welsh. I'll be hosting it, but we want to hear from you what topics you would like us to discuss. So if you could fire those in on the comment section, I think would probably be the best way, Charlie.
I think so.
Yeah.
Talk about the salary cap.
Salary cap does come
and
up.
should players' salaries be made public?
You think that's something we should talk about?
I don't know. Just giving you ideas.
They basically are.
Well, they are. Yeah.
Like we're going to be talking about Jakey Trbojevic's contract impacting reportedly $950. That's a lot.
Yeah, but when you sign these deals, he was in really good form. So you can't. That's just how it works sometimes. And not saying he's in bad form now, but he had that really good combination with his brother going.
But should local junior players be paid that much?
Be exempt?
No. I mean, like Jake was never going to leave. Manly.
No.
Like I know there was some offers there,
but I think at the point when he signed, he was the best, one of the best forwards out there.
Yeah.
With his versatility, being able to just carry the ball as well as pre-line and his minutes he can play. So he was worth a lot of money.
Yeah.
But sometimes, unfortunately, you get to that peak and then it starts to taper off a little bit, whether that's injuries or whatever. You can't knock him for what he's on.
No, absolutely not. But I reckon some players get paid on how they're currently performing. And it's almost like those adverts. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance. They should probably put that, like, when you go and sign your contract.
Is that one?
Oh, it's in all of them. Any investment fund is past.
Yeah.
Like, I reckon they should do that with rugby league players. Past performance is not a good indication of future performance. It's not a reliable indicator of future performance. So if you're playing like a 950 player when you're 26, you're not going to be playing like a 950 player at 30. So don't sign it. The club shouldn't sign them to 4-year deals.
Well, what about the deals are getting bigger, which is, I suppose, harder to keep a hold of, because it used to be 2-3 year deals. 3 years used to be the max almost. Yeah, but I think it's better than paying on potential. All of a sudden, this kid has a breakout year.
Ah, right. Okay.
Here you go. Here's 950. You've had 2 seasons of playing NRL, and here's a massive deal because he's had 2 hot seasons. Then all of a sudden he gets worked out by the opposition. His expectation doesn't go up.
It's hard to get good value these days.
It is, because
you're either paying on potential or paying on current performance. So basically, the players
you can't knock them. Get what you can, guys. Get what you can. Make hay while the sun shines.
Well, you can knock them if you want,
but no one goes out there and plays poorly on purpose.
No,
and I'm sure, as we've both been professional sportsmen at one point in our lives. You go out there and you do your best you can, and sometimes you have good games, sometimes you have bad games. And when your bad games start to become more and more regular, that's when you give the game up.
Is it? Or do you just cling on?
I hung on for 3 or 4 more years after, don't worry. I was squeezing that lemon dry.
With expansion teams coming in as well, they're going to need players. Yeah. So we're going to
There's a topic. Is there enough talent to go around? Write that one down.
Great idea.
Write that one down.
Is there enough talent?
For an expansion, for more expansion teams.
Yeah, what's expansion going to look like?
More teams.
More teams, yeah.
That's what
it's going to look like more teams. Yeah. Do we have the talent pool? Can we grow that talent pool? Anything else?
Listen, there's got to be a food topic in there.
Favorite food? Favorite restaurant?
Yeah.
Did you look into Bistecca, by the way?
No, I didn't. No. Did you look into going out for just a meal? Just for shits and giggles?
Yeah. I don't need an occasion to go out.
No, but you don't enjoy an occasion to go out.
What do you mean?
Well, you didn't. You kicked up a stink because I went to China Doll for my birthday. A couple of weeks ago.
I'd just go to China Doll because I don't need an occasion to go.
Oh, I need an occasion.
You need, yeah. We should probably get into the footy, eh?
I wonder how many people will turn off 5 minutes into this because we're just talking absolute shit. The footy.
Before we get into the reviews of the game, I think we're going to get into the Hyundai Hybrid Heroes.
Yes. Do you want to start us off?
I'll start us off, but just that. We've got
huge SUV range.
Yes, if you've ever thought about going hybrid, now you can. Check out the hybrid SUV range by Hyundai today. It is actually really good. They're very impressive. Me and Charlie went down there.
Charlie and I.
Okay, me and my business partner, Charlie, went down there.
Yeah.
And it's actually very impressive. I think I'm going to go in and get one.
Oh, are you?
I've got a hybrid of a rival brand right now, but
so do I.
The lease is up.
Yeah.
So, but no, my Hyundai hybrid hero is Tommy Dearden. Both sides of the game, absolutely amazing, and that's what hybrids are all about. So, bringing both sides of the game. Tommy Dearden defensively couldn't have done much more.
No.
Jesus Christ, for a small man, he puts his body on the line.
Yeah, yeah.
I think 3 try assists as well. So,
yes, he was there. He was amongst everything. That's, you know, when they were under the pump there, he came up with a couple of try savers as well. But just, that's been his season. And he's a goer. He's a doer. You know, I love him. He's tough. Not the biggest bloke on the field, but he'll give you 100% every game. So that's a good one. That one.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah.
Who's your?
I've gone Trindle from the Sharkies.
Oh yeah.
I thought he was awesome. I think he led from in every aspect of the game. Try assists, couple of. He got a nice try in the corner himself. So. And
did you see how he gripped the ball?
Well, I thought that was only a winger's job to do that.
Yeah.
That was impressive.
Xavier Coates would have been proud of that finish.
I think so. Yeah. But I thought he's been great for him. Kicking game was awesome. And he was he was my Hyundai hybrid hero.
Thanks, Hindy. Good job. Well,
did you like him?
I did. Oh, mate, I thought, basically for me, he played 7. That's why he's a Hyundai hybrid hero, because he was in the 6 jersey, but he played like a 7.
See, I don't get that. 6 and 7.
Yeah.
Does it? And I know if you played in the halves, you'll tell us differently, but they're both the same to me.
Pretty much.
I think so.
I think 7 is supposed to do more organising and more of the kicking.
What if you've got a dominant 6?
Well,
aren't they kick and pass?
You're at 6s and 7s.
Don't they just do all that? That's their thing.
Yeah.
It's like a front rower.
And
a back rower or something, yeah.
No,
not a wide running back rower, not an edge back rower. Because you got your middle back rower.
Lock.
Well, sometimes we played with 2. Like you have your lock around the middle, and you have your back rower, one back rower around the middle as well. But you'd always have a dominant. We used to have like a dominant back row on the edge, or maybe even a lock on the edge. Back in the day, yeah. Before the lock turned into a ball playing middleman.
Would you defend with your 9 on an edge, not in the middle line?
No,
there's only four players.
Nine's always in the middle.
Not if you've got an edge back row. So if you've got 3 middle forwards, 2 props, loose forward, and then an edge back rower in the middle.
Sometimes,
that's 4.
Yeah.
So where does your hooker go?
In the middle as well, but just not
5-man middle.
Yeah. Does that make sense?
No.
I think I've stuffed that right up.
Oh, well. Anyway, big thanks to Hyundai for coming on board for the finals. Ever thought about going hybrid? Now you can. Check out the hybrid SUV range by Hyundai today. We'll get into that review of the Cowboys and Sharks. 3 tries from kicks in the opening half for the Sharks. Cowboys just look spent.
They had a big week. They had a big game the week before against the Knights, and that went down to the wire, and it was humid and hot up there, and they did look gassed at the end of that game. So I don't know whether they had 7-day turnaround, but for me, they just, from what they did the week before prior against the Knights with their go forward, they just seemed to go wide too early, and they were running each other out of room on the edge. There was no change of angle until Val scored that try.
Yeah.
They just kept running each other over towards the sideline.
Yeah. The Cowboys are a funny team. I thought they applied themselves pretty well, but they just clocked off on those last plays. And I think that's where fatigue caught up with them. I
was surprised it wasn't more around the ball. And we spoke about that the other week, about how who wasn't around the ball when that's just when fatigue plays a factor.
Well, fatigue will catch up with you and it'll expose you. But I reckon if you're playing in the middle, you keep moving, you keep doing your job.
You have to. As soon as you stop, you're gone.
Or you get found out and you probably wouldn't make it as a first grader. But where those players go above and beyond is on last play. You think your job's done. So, yeah, they go kick pressure, or you're at marker, you just sort of half move, or you're the A defender, it goes to the other side, and you stop. The really good players get back and help out, and I think that's where the Cowboys' fatigue factor got them, because those 3 tries from kicks, the one that McInnes scored.
I thought he was offside. I thought they should have looked at that a bit closer. Really? Yeah. Mind you, I was about 7 or 8 deep by then. But he looked offside to me on the kick.
Yeah.
He looked in front of the kicker just.
Did you think it was a penalty try?
The more, initially no, but the more you look at it, I'm thinking he probably would have got there. I think he would have got there. Yeah. Because who cleaned it up? Didn't clean it up, didn't he?
Did and was in the mixer,
yeah. I think he cleaned the loose ball up, but I don't think he wouldn't have beaten him to the ball, I don't think. So, look, and he tackled him. So, fair enough. It was it's a bad way to start the game, but...
Yeah, I think the Cowboys got the better of the result there. I'd rather, in that situation, concede a try and keep Cotter on, because obviously if you concede, you can't have a penalty try and the sim. It's one or the other. Yeah. I think the Cowboys take that, but this is where
So you think you would have rathered... Oh, yeah, I know what you mean, yeah.
Like if I'm the Cowboys, and then I go, this is good. We'll concede the penalty try and keep Ruben Cotter on.
But do you not back yourself for 10 minutes?
Not with the way they were feeling. They were starting to go,
and that was pretty early too.
This is how bad that happens. They kick off and they concede again.
Yeah,
that's how fatigued they were at that point. So they get the penalty try, a heap of time to like rest up, get some juice back in the tank. They kick off and they get marched down.
Yeah, they were loose in the ruck. Yeah, very loose.
Like they were gone at that point. So I think if they'd lost Cotter for 10 minutes. Cronulla would have scored anyway, and it would have caught up with them even quicker than what it did.
But wouldn't you? I'd enjoy the dig the heels in challenge being man down.
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I know, but they were just gone,
gassed.
Yeah,
and look, they didn't really recover. But you know what? With the Sharks though, that big lead they had, I think for them, they'd be disappointed they only kicked a penalty goal in that second half. Didn't cross the line again, and I think that's something that needed to be addressed. You know, let's 24 blot at half time, and not to go on and really smack them and let them back into the game early in that start of that second half.
They came back early, didn't they?
Yeah, that was. I think that's a bit of an issue.
Yeah,
they won the game.
Yeah,
and they did enough in the first half to do it, but you do that against a better opposition.
That's it. Attention soon turns to the task ahead, which is Penrith. So they've got to be so far beyond what they put in on Friday in order to even compete with the Panthers.
Well, I think Nico will be better for the run.
Yeah,
he still looked a bit shaky, but I think Trindle, the way the forms he is in, I think that'll give Nico confidence to play a bit more of a natural game rather than have to overthink and having to try and run the show, where Trindle's stepped into that role quite well. So that'll give Nico a bit more breathing room, because they left him in the lurch at one point early in the game, where he picked the ball up from dummy half and looked around to find someone to carry the ball.
Yeah,
and he got fouled, and I don't think he's looking around going, boys, give us a little bit of help here.
Yeah, the Sharks have got some improvement in them in order to take on Penrith. Just on the Cowboys, they're the most Origin players, which is usually a sign of, which is a problem in terms of dealing with that Origin period, but usually an indicator that you've got quality players in your roster, and a problem most coaches would love to have.
Yeah, that's just about managing fatigue, I suppose, a little bit, having all those players, but you expect them to do a lot better with considering the amount of players they've got in their side, but that was it. That was their season. That was in regards to what they tossed up the other night is what they've been known to do this year. They've kind of been up and down, the hit and miss.
Yeah.
So consistency for them probably hurt them. They did enough to get where they did, obviously, but the difference between their good games and their average games was a big gap, and that was one of their average games, unfortunately.
Yeah, I reckon they're probably too keen on getting in a shootout and getting to an attitude of we'll score more than you. It's okay if we concede because we're gonna come after you with attack. Yeah. Very attack focused team. Watching them from the outside.
Well, we spoke to them earlier in the year, and they were changing their defence. They were changing their defensive style and pattern, which don't you just tackle someone and make sure you don't miss them?
You can,
or you get up and in, umbrella, you can all that sort of stuff. The markers work differently, yeah. So they're working on a lot of that.
Defensive systems, but fundamentally, and to be fair, people like Dean and Clifford got involved in some big effort plays, but it's more actually the collective attitude defensively. Like we see the Bulldogs and Penrith. Melbourne, you can see what they are trying to do defensively, and they're very good at it. But with the Cowboys, it does appear as though they're an attack-minded team.
Yeah,
and I think Todd Payton said it before, like in terms of their attitude to defence. I think if you're looking at their
attitude to defence in that second half was outstanding. So to turn the Sharks away was about 3 times. In that second half, held them up, fell short, all that sort of stuff, and then they just couldn't. What was the dropout penalties? Was there dropout penalties?
Yes. So it went out on the
on the full.
Yeah, it went out on the full, but because it wasn't short, they got a penalty, not to play the ball.
Mm. So it went out on the full.
Yeah,
did they say because it was intentionally out on the full?
No, it went out on the full, but it wasn't a short dropout attempt. So I think because it went.
Oh, okay, yeah, gotcha. But how do you know he wasn't going for a short dropout?
Well, it was confusing.
Yeah,
but not much has been made of that actually.
No.
Mm. Interesting to hear Coach Todd Payton as well saying 7 players were going for painkilling injections before the game, which is
That's a lot.
It showcases just how the toll the season can take, and especially with Origin.
And also too the way their season was going, probably not being able to rest when he wanted to rest as well. Because they were in that little bit of that limbo land of making the 8.
Yeah.
Then they were going down on. It was almost needed to win 5 from 6 or whatever. That was all mathematical at one point.
They had a weird bye schedule as well. They had 2 late byes, but. I reckon looking at the Cowboys, and they're in the mixer with probably Manly as well. I reckon you've got Penrith, Roosters, Storm, your top 3. I reckon that 4th spot for best NRL team, or who's in the genuine top 4, was up for grabs this year. I think those 3 were above and beyond. It would have started with Manly, Sharks, Cowboys in the chat, maybe Bulldogs as the season went on. But I reckon Cowboys will be disappointed with not being in the final 4.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, but considering who they've got in their side.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the expectations on them from us as as punters, you thought they would have done a lot better and they would be disappointed. Yeah. For sure.
Especially coming up against a Sharks team that were vulnerable, that had this, this bit of a hoodoo against them.
Yeah.
So I reckon they'll be
kicking themselves.
They'll be filthy that this
But
season's over.
honestly think they'll be better next year. They'll be right up there in the mix next year. They've lost Val Holmes though.
Lost Finney Fuaki as well.
Yeah.
Do you reckon they would have given Penrith more of a game than what the Sharks will be able to? Like, would you be more excited about the Cowboys' chance as opposed to the Sharks' chance?
Yeah, I don't know.
Do you know?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Like for the general punter.
But I think for me, watching those two, the Sharks and the Cowboys for me they're a little bit tougher in regards to dig their heels in. They'll work. If they have points scored against them early, they won't just fold, if that makes sense. Whereas the Sharks, I think, if they get a lead put on them, that's it. There's no coming back from that. I think the Cowboys, they're a chance of coming back from a big points deficit like we saw on the weekend. They were working their way back. But I think the Sharks, if they get points put on them early, that's it. They're done. There's no cool head and no one to say, righto boys, there's still got a lot of time on the score on the clock here. We can still get ourselves back into this game.
See, I reckon selfishly watching the game, I reckon the Cowboys give the Panthers more trouble defensively than what the Sharks will.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Obviously, Panthers aren't going to change much about whether it was the Sharks or the Cowboys, but I reckon, the Cowboys will probably throw more at them.
Oh, yeah. They've got more threats, definitely. Yeah. But, and Penrith, Penrith will just go into their systems and just do what they do. Yeah.
Just not looking too far ahead, but I reckon you do need to do something different. And the way the referees have been addressing the game in terms of like putting the whistle away, less 60 games, less penalties in general.
That's what Penrith will want.
Well, I don't know if much changes for Penrith with that, but for the Sharks or any team for that matter, the Roosters going down to Melbourne, I reckon you're pushing the envelope massively. One of the Penrith strengths is their back three. So at the start of the year, they said the downtown rule. Can you imagine a referee blowing a downtown penalty? In the semis after they've put the whistle away? I reckon they're. I reckon
haven't seen many of those, have
not
we?
for ages.
No.
Well, I reckon,
and they were blowing the pee out of the whistle for those early, weren't they?
So I reckon if you're the Sharks, you're going.
Let's
just, if we're DPR,
let's test him early.
Get on, just get down because they're not going to blow.
Yeah,
it'd almost be
or fine touch, slow play him
100%. So
don't let your Toro get your business get the roll on and
it's worth sacrificing a slight bit of field position, I think, to get Penrith out of their rhythm.
Yeah.
And I think they played the Dragons a couple of months ago rather, down at Wynn.
And Luai said it at half time. He goes, we couldn't get in the game because of the stop starting.
Yeah. So I reckon you've got to use every advantage.
Yep.
The climate of referees, you've got to take advantage of that. Like if you are you might as well pick that hill to die on. Win scrappy, win ugly. Because if you go set for set with Penrith,
that's what they want you to do.
Happy days.
Forwards get behind the ball, they card it out. The backs do what they do. It's just
if you almost take the piss with your defensive line, you're not playing for the highlight reel stuff. You're kicking the ball out.
This is your last hurrah, isn't it? So you've got to try. They'll have to try something new.
Like as much as you say, boys, we've got the ability to do this. The reality is you need to do something different.
Yeah.
Like you have to do something different against these quality oppositions. Where the Sharks are at compared to where the Panthers are at, they've got to go with a bit of a different plan.
Yeah.
Disrupt Penrith, frustrate them, test them. And even with all that, they still might likely come back and have some brilliance. But I reckon that's the best way that they can do it.
Yeah, they'll have to do something different. We did that years against the Broncos side, who had Lottie Takiri, Wendell Sale on the wings and giant forward pack who were quite mobile and big. We just found touch.
Yeah.
We just kicked it. Didn't matter how far it went. Just slow played them. Scrum it.
Yeah.
Whatever.
We'll
have a defensive line set. Yeah.
Yeah, well, it's a play the ball now. If you
it's play the ball now,
yeah. So, which is even better.
Yeah,
because you're not exposed to. Yeah, you're literally
a trick
set,
move off the scrum or anything like that. Yeah,
you're literally set, ready to go.
Yeah,
they're not going to kick early off the scrum.
I think I even found touch once. Got caught and just boot it.
It's a tactic that I think we might see.
Yeah.
But congratulations to the Sharks because I was getting a little bit nervous there, and there's a couple of people in that team that I think just they needed it. Obviously, a lot of pressure on Nico Hines, Fitzgibbon. Yeah.
But have they just survived another week to say see you later?
But then, if you're in that dressing room,
you're excited. You're one game away from playing in the grand final.
Yeah. Penrith had a wobble against Canberra. 4 weeks ago?
Yeah.
I mean, you same with Melbourne. They had a wobble against the Dragons.
Yeah. But that was a while. That was a long time. And now the semi-finals is a different beast.
It is. But I reckon if the Sharks players, everything to gain, nothing to lose.
Yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
You don't know. But I can't see it though. I'm sorry, I can't.
Yeah,
I can't. As much for the Sharkies fans, I hope they turn out and watch them and really support them. They have to because Penrith. Penrith fans are going to be there in their thousands and thousands. So Sharkies fans, get out there. Get on the G train. Where's the G train going?
I don't think it went in the end. I think it got cancelled because there was strikes on the phone. I think it legit. It did. Yeah, I think there was strikes on that
G train.
So it got brushed. The Roosters got a victory over the Manly. I think.
That was set up in the first carry of the game.
Well, it was, but I'd go back 6 days earlier, and I think the Bulldogs beat them up, and Manly looked again a bit flat from that big contest.
Well, DCE wasn't himself, I don't think, defensively as well. Like he had some poor misses, like some. I'm going to say, lack of effort misses. Like just didn't look like he looked like someone that knew the game was out of reach.
Yeah.
They
actually went to try and do that play that worked for them on last play, where I think it was instinctive against the Dogs. But he went back to the inside on last play a couple of times to Turbo, run it on last a few times.
Yeah. That one that they set up they got
a try against the Dogs. It looks like they were trying to do that, but I don't think you can manufacture that play. You can't.
But was it a play? Was it set up?
It looked like they were trying to replicate what worked.
But that wasn't set up. That was just turning back on the inside
against the Dogs.
Happened.
It just happened.
Yeah.
But it looked like they were trying to set that up. Anyway, going to that kick-off carry. Well, and then what happened after? Literally the second carry as well.
Yeah. Well, they were done.
Yeah.
You were done. And also, too, I think that lifted the Roosters as well.
Yeah.
Honestly, we knocked out Luke Patton in a semi-final, and that just gave us a boost. Like losing one of their players, like he got nearly killed, but we just went, "Oh, this is so good." They've lost their fullback, and we just got a bit of a lift out of that.
Yeah.
So I think that's what happened to the Chooks as well. Even though they were very dominant, very dominant.
Calls that. Well, some Manly fans suggesting that Jared raised his arm and his elbow.
No.
Look,
you're allowed to bump.
You're allowed to bump. Yeah, you can't have one arm tucked and then the other arm flat by your side.
Just come and pick me off.
Yeah.
Here I am, guys.
Yeah. Like arm down, just cannon fodder.
No. There was it was a contact and then bump.
And it's a natural running motion. Like when you run, your elbows do move.
They're just looking for something.
Yeah,
and that was fine.
Yeah,
it was totally fine.
Jared used to play their clear dislike of Manly.
Yeah, we were hoping for a bit of fireworks. It was a good start.
Yeah. I mean, no one wants to see a player on the receiving end of that, but it's one of those unfortunate incidences that will no doubt highlight on.
But if the Manly fans were disappointed in that, I know they lost their player for the game, but then you look at some of the Olakuatu's tackles from the weekend. You kind of they were borderline. I know he was trying to give his side a bit of a lift, and his contact was great. He was whacking him, but there was a few of them. I'm going, there's not really much of a wrapping motion, but notice how there was no contact with the head or anything like that. That's why that's why I don't mind them.
Yeah, it's a shoulder charge where the arm's not tucked, but he just doesn't wrap.
No,
but
he was trying to inspire, and he was belting them. He was belting them. Yeah.
Jakey Toborovic,
Cat 2.
That's right on the borderline for me.
I thought so.
Like I thought.
I don't think he was coming back.
I didn't think he was coming back.
No, the way the Chooks players pushed him forward, and he still couldn't. Like Chooks knew he was gone, I thought, and they've given him a bit of a nudge to keep him down.
And you could almost see in the eyes, which is a dead giveaway. Yeah. Like that.
That must have been borderline. He got jammed. He got jammed by both, didn't he?
Well,
dunk.
Yeah. It almost looked like a boxer with a standing 8 count where they sort of know, like you see it happen in boxing and they're like, oh, shit.
But in saying that,
but obviously they've got the protocols.
They know what they're doing, and obviously people recover differently, don't they, from a head knock? Yeah.
But it's going to be highlighted, obviously on Manly, the tragic passing of the young player Titmus at training. That's come out now that his brain was sent to the brain bank where they discovered stage 2 CTE. So this is going to be a talking point, and it's quite difficult to navigate. Obviously, dealing with a young player's death is horrible, and what that family's had to go through. But I think the conversation is going to be highlighted around like risk management, concussion management. The kick-off debate is going to come back again
after what we saw on the weekend.
And NFL have changed theirs.
But you look at Nathan Brown.
It's
and how excited we get watching him cart the ball up. Yeah, and it is a contact sport, and we all know it's a contact sport, and things don't always go the way they're supposed to go. But unless you know more about it than I do with this concussion and the head knock stuff, I'm not putting my head in the sand with this at all. But I don't listen to it. I don't. I can't. I've got 4 young boys I've got 4 boys that play league.
Yeah.
Luckily, they haven't had any head knocks yet that we know of. But your brain gets bashed around anyway.
Well,
regardless.
I think what this sort of suggesting now is that it's number of collisions you're exposed to as opposed to concussions. So I think
we're exposed to collisions every time we make a front-on tackle.
Exactly, because in terms of the young boy Titmus, he like they did an article I think in the Australian today, and no recollection of receiving a concussion, but it's about just the number of collisions that he was exposed to. So then
you got to go back.
Well,
that was falling over at school, mucking around. Did he?
Yeah.
There's so many things. But you don't know if you got CTE until they examine your brain, correct?
Yeah.
You don't know until you're gone, unfortunately. Yeah. But the amount of times I fell off my pushy or my motorbike, or got kicked by a horse, and then you get kicked in the head, got kicked in the guts. But shit happens like that.
Well, I know what you mean.
With shaking your brain around.
Yeah. In terms of actual concussion, the leading cause of concussion in children is pillow fighting.
Really?
I'm not even joking. That is like
bricks in it.
Well, you think kids have pillow fights, and
I used to,
even like I
was 18 when I had my first pillow fight though.
If you look at like risk management and like how society is structured, so everything comes with a trade-off, right? If you make changes, there's going to be trade-offs. So a lot of focus will be on like youngsters playing the game, kids. That's the great way to get headlines. Is like, oh, you got to think about the children, which is fair enough. But I say, well,
but do we wrap them? We can't wrap them in cotton wool.
You can't.
And no, we got
and there's so many benefits to playing sport, especially team sport. With an element
learning to lose, learning to win as a team, learning to work with others,
and also
physically activity and mental health. I know
how to navigate
all these things.
All these, but that you're not going to get a headline going, "Hey, playing team sport is great for you and actually leads to improved lives." It's not. They go for headlines about all dangers. I say this, I'm not joking. If your risk management of a child and a kid, and you think, oh, playing contact sport is too much of a risk, that's fine.
I understand.
You can make that assessment as a parent, but whatever you do, don't swap it for poetry. Don't take your child out of contact sport and put them into poetry, because there's certain data points out there that would suggest pursuing a career in poetry would be more detrimental to all well-being markers and all-cause mortality versus playing contact sport.
Why is that?
Well, because
socially not there. Don't learn to deal with certain situations.
There's all-cause mortality for poets would be and life expectancy would be less than team sport athletes.
Are they doing too much at training?
Potentially, yeah. Well, that's what the NFL have done. They've brought in mandatory contact limits in training, which then therefore
there's been a
reduces your exposure to collision, which then therefore...
I think there's been a huge... Well, since I back into my career, the amount of wrestling and contact sessions you did compared to what we used to do early, gone through the roof.
So you think it's more now?
So much more now.
Yeah,
so much more
I'm
now.
of that belief as well.
Yeah. Like we would, obviously the physical activity was there, but that was more running and all that sort of stuff. And your opposed sessions weren't full contact.
Yeah.
And now they're full games.
Yeah,
they're 20-minute,
it's
20-minute, half an hour games of, and you get the young bull that's coming through and tries to give you a belt, then gets a bit fiery, and you go harder again, and all
you're
that sort of
strapped as if you're going to play.
Yeah.
You're getting strapped as if you're going to play.
Yep.
Again, this is probably something that the NRL could look at. Just back to the Roosters' dominance.
Did you expect it?
I thought the Roosters would win. Yeah, I
thought the Roosters would win, but I didn't think they would be as convincing without Walker. You know, I thought they were gone. You know, when they lost Walker and Radley, I know we know Radley's back, but I thought they were gone. But they'd have first tick up in the semi-finals. They got towed up early, but I thought the influence of Walker would have a bigger effect on them when it hasn't.
Tedesco was good,
outstanding,
especially with no Walker, no Smith. You need those experienced spine players to really up their game.
Yep.
I thought he was streets ahead of everyone on the field.
Sandon was good.
Yeah.
I thought he was great. Connor Watson, you knew he was going to do the job anyway when he gets in there. So no dramas there. I thought Angus Crichton was better. They were just they seemed like they were ready for semi-final football this week compared to the week prior.
I think they made Manly look tired, and part of that is due to the fact the Bulldogs beating them up the week before.
Yep.
And then lose Kohler, Jake off, and even that Brent Tabojevic, great player, but he only came on I think the last 15 against the Dogs, so he's probably sat on the bench going, "Oh, might get a run late."
Even that try to Radley, that first try, that's a hole Jake would fill and defend that a lot better.
Well, Nathan Brown, you say back fence Brown, and he's great, but he has a habit of looking in, coming to try and smash someone which leaves you exposed.
He sunk in.
Big time.
So I thought that hole there where Victor went through would have been a different story if Jake was on the field. Just smarter defender.
Yeah, especially early in the piece, where you can't afford to concede a try like that.
No, not that easy. Untouched, under the sticks.
Again, Roosters go to Melbourne. The record is going to be spoken about.
Do you worry about records like that? Does it ever play on your mind when you were playing? I couldn't give two hoots.
No.
How many times they beat me on a certain field?
It was always a different. It's a different team.
Yeah, but rat's ass. Who cares if they've? Yeah, it's a different day.
And every no gets you closer to a yes.
Correct. I love that one. I do love that one.
So every loss
is
every
close to a win.
loss. So, will the Roosters beat the Panthers of the Storm? Yeah, in the foreseeable future, yes. So if we're going across the time span, no. So you're actually getting closer.
It's the law of averages. Is that right?
I don't know if it's the law of averages. I think it's just.
It's like when I'm on the roulette wheel. If I just stick on that one number.
No, because each event is independent of the previous events. Casinos shouldn't do that. They shouldn't put up the previous scores.
You don't look at the previous numbers?
Well, I do, but you shouldn't, because the new event is independent. Past performance is not a reliable indicator of future performance. So if you've seen, if you're at the casino and you see
311s have popped up.
If you see all red and the last numbers have been 11, those previous events don't affect the future events. But in terms of what the Melbourne Storm and Penrith Panthers have done...
Just pick a number.
Yeah.
Just spread your numbers out. And always back green.
Yeah.
Always have a green for a safety.
Hey, have you ever been to the casino and people bet on your thing? So if you're playing blackjack...
I can't play blackjack unless I'm playing with mates. Unless I've sat down there with four mates or whatever, and it's only us, because I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I really don't. And people
You've
look
just
at you,
got to
mate.
21.
Yeah, but why are you taking that card? You should have sat.
Yeah,
all that sort of stuff. I don't know that.
People blow up deluxe.
Massively.
Yeah, but playing blackjack in the casino, there's times where like these people come and they'll put money on you to beat the deal. And you're like, mate,
start to sweat. Don't give me that pressure.
Like, I don't want
Coming here for a bit of fun. I don't want to lose.
It's like having a coach like, looking over you. Hey, mate, you want to split then? Do I? But no, the Roosters, I guess you could look at it as like they will get closer. They are getting closer to that victory.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they would have the same approach as what maybe the Sharks do about that disruption. I think they'll back themselves.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah.
To come up with a plan.
Well, Robbo's been in enough of these games.
Yeah.
To know what to do down there. Yeah. Up against Bellamy, it'll be as probably confident as most people think that Melbourne will do it. I think it's going to be a little bit closer and a little bit tougher for Melbourne than it will be for Penrith.
Jared leaving, Kiwi leaving, Manu leaving. Like, that'll be a huge driving factor.
Yeah. And you look at their side, it's a bloody good team that they can attack from anywhere. They've got it all. It's just about getting it right on the day against Melbourne. And Melbourne too, a lot of reliability. Everyone's relying on Hughes. Munster had a great game the other week, and they're starting to find that form that we know him for.
Grant, Pap, mate, they're a good side, Melbourne.
They are a good side.
The Roosters, I reckon you're in that dressing room, you've got that motivator of Jared, Joey Manu, Luke Keary.
Are you a significant upset? Because the more I'm thinking about it, the more I'm talking about it. I'm talking.
And you can imagine being in that dressing room. We're going to go to Melbourne. We're going to fucking get after these. You know, like all that sort of stuff. And maybe where Roosters have a slight advantage is in the middle of the field with their middle forwards. So Jared, May, Lenu Collins, Radley, all through the guts of them.
Yeah.
Like
a little bit more mobile.
Melbourne don't
and fit.
Yeah. Melbourne don't have that same level of.
Well, they've got their soldiers, their foot soldiers that'll just bang it up. Yeah.
That's what it is. So it's going to be the big dogs against the foot soldiers, really. Yeah. And I reckon if there's a slight advantage for the Roosters, it's in that middle of the park.
Got to agree with you there. Yeah. Yes. Do we say the Roosters? Do we?
No, not yet. Just on Manly, again, they're probably one of those other teams that would have looked at themselves as a top 4 team. I reckon looking back at their season, too many games they blew. Parramatta, they were ahead. Canberra, they lost the game against the Tigers. Like that they blew. They've just been too inconsistent.
Well, that's the same as the Cowboys and the Sharks. Yeah. Although there's 3 sides, they've played very similar all year, where they've gone through little hot streaks, looking pretty good. And you're going, they're definitely top 4 side. Then all of a sudden they fall off the face of the earth. Their defensive patterns goes, they can't attack, and they change things around, and they can't do it, and they start to panic a little bit. Then those 3 sides have all been the same for me. Where you, at times you don't know if they're going to win an easy game, a game they're supposed to win.
The Tigers prime example. Like they were 16-0 up.
Yeah,
they're a team that loses focus in games. Big time.
Manly v Canberra.
Yeah,
that big lead. Yeah, Canberra came back. Yeah, got them.
Same against Para earlier in I think like round 3 or 4.
Yeah, So those sides, they'll be. I know we spoke about it before. They'll be disappointed for their inconsistency in the games. They look back. Oh shit! If we'd won that one, if we won that one, we would have
been a top 4 team. Yeah, I think they started the season. They beat Souths when Souths had a lot of in Vegas. Came back, beat the Roosters, and then they lost to Dragons and Eels.
Yeah,
they won the games they weren't supposed to win and lost the games they were supposed to.
All in your head.
That's been an issue for Manly. Can Trbojevic keep going at fullback? Would you move him?
Where to? Centres.
Lighten his load in order to keep... Because
he's busted at the moment.
Well, do you remember a few months ago, he came back and played in the centres? It was like, we're going to keep him in the centre. It lasted 1 game.
Yeah, because he didn't do anything.
Well, and then there was an injury. He moved to fullback, played well. It's like, let's.
But He'll have a good off season. He'll rest up, and he'll come back firing next year at fullback.
Yeah,
he's still got the leg speed. Like you can see, he made a half break on the other night and couldn't go full tilt, and you could see that
his knee's busted.
Yeah, so you rest him up, fix him up, and he'll be fine. He'll go again. He'll be back to his best at the start of next year for sure.
So
I think.
Don't move him.
No, don't move him. No.
Yeah.
No. Even playing busted, he was still on the weekend creating little opportunities here and there.
Yeah.
So,
Seabold done enough to gain an extension, do you think? Like,
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't see why he should be spoken about getting the sack.
It does seem strange that topic comes up. I think it's it's not a successful season, but it's definitely a pass mark.
Yeah, 100% it is. Yeah.
You know.
Yep. I think so. So I just wouldn't be I wouldn't be listening to those rumours.
Yeah.
Or innuendo or talk or whatever you want to call it.
When there's not much to talk about, when there's only two games.
When
there's only two games.
Yeah.
You know my best toss-up of the year when there was nothing doing? Brian Toto might be asking for a release. It's like...
Did you start that?
No, someone tossed that. No, it got tossed up and it was just...
I'm drinking again, a bit dry.
I think I might take a sip as well. Toto. It's like he was never going.
But it's a rumour mill, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's good. It's a great game, rugby league. There's always something to talk about.
There is. Or you just, if there's not, you make it up.
Make shit up.
Yeah. So Seabold, no dramas there. Just quickly in some of the news over the weekend, Jason Ryles' Clint Gutherson plan could play lock or hooker or utility. Is this his way of saying Gutho?
Look, Gutho's lost a yard of pace. There's no denying that. But again, long year, and Gutho puts in, week in. So he comes off the field, he's played a game.
Yeah.
You know those sorts of players.
Yes.
You don't come off and you...
Yeah.
He goes in the shed, goes, I'm buggered.
Yeah.
And he'd be probably the last bloke in the sheds to get his boots off. Yeah, that sort of player. So you can understand why, after a long year, a long, unsuccessful year, he looks a bit fatigued. Because he's had to carry... No Moses, so he's had to... kind of pick up a bit of the slack there.
Really, he probably should have sat out the last month with his because he looked busted.
But that's the sort of player
exactly,
he is, and he wanted to get those boys off the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah.
So, he's lost that yard of pace. Probably could have got a little bit more support back there from his wingers and his centres, but I can't see him going to 9. He's not going to be a 9.
No, it's too late in his career to transition to a 9.
He's not going to 9. No. 13, centres. I'd rather
13. They've got Hopgood and Mathis,
and he's coming. Yeah. And if you've lost that yard of pace at fullback, you're safer at fullback than you are in the centres, I believe, because if you get burnt on the outside in the centres, fullback at least you've got people coming back to help cover as well.
Yeah, but would they put Lomax at fullback?
Possibly. Do
you reckon
or would you keep Lomax on the wing because he's a great winger?
He is, but sometimes
well done, Flano. Good move.
Team politics. Gutho obviously very well liked. Lomax is the new guy coming in. As a coach, do you reckon Ryles?
I don't think Ryles is going to give a shit who's been there longer
but it's
who's liked more.
But maybe in the long term. But to get a quick sugar hit, you don't want to upset arguably the most influential person in the dressing room. So, and
who's the coach?
Well, Jason Ryles.
That's what I'm saying. He's the most influential person in the dressing sheds.
Is he?
He will be.
You don't think it's the players?
I don't
know. There'd be 3 or 4 players. Think about
shit.
Yeah, think about star player captain gets. Mistreated. And
well,
it
wasn't nice, I'll admit. I didn't have a good time. Are you talking about me? Or?
No. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. Gutherson, it's hard, because you've got to find a spot for him because
that's the thing, because
he seems the glue.
He does the influence within the side, and he's never lie down attitude. Yeah, that's true, but. You don't just make if you're going, you're going. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But I think he's a bit like Turbo. Rest him up over the off-season.
Yeah.
I know he's not going to gain that pace back,
Yeah.
but yeah, he's had knee issues this year and all that sort of stuff. I think a good off-season for Gutho and a good freshen up will do him the world of good.
Yeah.
And he'll be back there at fullback. Yeah. He might need to change through the games. You know, like Mini and Tuivasa-Sheck. Remember they used to do it?
Oh, yeah.
They used to do it a bit. I know it was a little bit confusing, but you get used to it.
But that was, yeah.
I know you were saying with Gutho is that he's got to be within the side somewhere, but do you just make up a spot to keep someone like that in your team?
Maybe for the first year, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I think he'll stay at fullback.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he'll just need to, you know, if there is a break made, you're just going to need some more support from the outside backs.
Yeah. Do you bother much with Parramatta? Obviously, a club legend there. Are you like... do you?
I want to see them win. I want to see them succeed for sure. 100%.
But are you right into it? Like, oh, we need to be signing like.
No, I take notice of what's going on. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I've had my time there.
Yeah,
I'm not involved in the club. No, but when I hear certain players being signed, what really? Or that's a good signing. Yeah. I'm becoming a fan.
Yeah.
Yes.
So more than you would say. I don't know. We can. Penrith signed Papali'i, you're not like, if Para made a big signing, you'd be excited. Or disappointed.
100%. Yeah, of course. Yeah, and the Para game is the only game that if I miss other games, I'll go, I've missed them. But Para game, I'll always try and
always
try and see.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough. All right, well, we've got through all the football stuff. What's on for the rest of the day, by the way?
I've got to shoot some stuff with Brian Fletcher. I'm booked in to see my genetics man. Yeah.
The cows. Yeah. Isn't he over in the States?
Well, the semen is over in the States. Yeah. So I'm getting...
So you're seeing a guy in Australia?
Yeah. A genetics man. So...
What do you need to see him about?
Well, this is opening up a new world for me. Embryos... Artificial insemination, obviously.
Yeah.
So that sort of stuff. Yeah. It's all there. It's all happening. So if you want a mini Highland or a Highland cow, you'd be good up here. Same colour hair.
Yeah. Don't just have one in the Byron studio. Just
why
knock
not?
around.
They'll be small enough.
Yeah.
You can clean up its shit.
I don't think it'd be
the
fair.
kids would like one because you don't have a dog or a cat yet.
No pets. Absolutely
no pets.
Zero pets. No.
Have you got a backyard?
Yes.
Is there a pool in it?
Yes.
Is there a trampoline in it?
No.
Why not?
Just no. Reduce the risk.
Do you know this?
I can't be
that.
bothered because I think if you get a trampoline, you're asking for trouble for not only your kids but other people's kids as well. And I don't want to
don't start thinking like that. They're going to have to sign a waiver to get on your trampoline because just chuck them on there. Get trampolines. You know what, mate? When you're hungover, you got young kids, and you just
sitting there
going, "I got to stop talking to me. Please just stop talking to me. No, I'm not colouring in. No, I'm not doing this. Play footy, Dad. No,
let's go on the trampoline.
Get on the tramp. Away you go."
The trampoline.
And you can zip them into it.
Yeah, you can zip them in nowadays, yeah.
And you don't have to build it. People will come and build it for you.
Yeah. No trampoline. Other people's houses, that's fine. Just
not your own?
No.
I have a good tramp. I've got a big one at home.
Do you?
Yeah.
Do you still go on it?
I still go on it.
Yeah.
I need to sleep. Catch a bit of hide in it.
We used to do trampoline in PE in the latest... And when I was
would have been indoors over there too, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, you're not going to have an outdoor trampoline. Oh no, you do have outdoor trampoline. Of course. No, we did in the gymnasium. They had these trampolines, but they had like they were like, I guess the
springs.
Not the springs. What's the floor, the bouncy bit that you
the mat.
I guess the mat. Yeah,
it's a mat. I think it's a mat.
So
trampoline mat.
The trampoline mat was
Yeah, what part of trampoline? Where does that bring in bounce? Trampoline.
Don't know.
Interesting. Do you know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah. So, why did they call it a trampoline? Don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, so at school,
because you got the uneven bars because they're uneven.
Yeah.
And you've got the springboard.
Because it's a springy board.
Yeah. And you've got the floor routine.
Yeah.
Because it's on the floor. With trampoline.
Yeah.
Tramp. Olean? Is
Olean, yeah. Anyway, at school, they had these trampoline mats, but they were like little holes in. No net, so we had to while one person was on the trampoline, everyone else in the class had to stand around, and watch, and I guess maybe act as some sort of barrier if they came off. But what we used to do, a few of the lads, we'd make sure we go in opposite areas, and you could put your fingers in these little holes, and then when someone was up in the air, you pull it tight, and they go.
So it's
it changes the tension.
Yeah, you get a double bounce.
Yeah. So we'd getting so much shit from the teachers, but every now and then, if there was someone you didn't like was on it, it was fucking pull it. Were
you a prick of a kid?
Oh, I was a good shit.
Yeah,
I was what they call a good. I wasn't there was bad shits and there was good shit. I
reckon you would have been You fed the bullets, didn't you? You're a bullet feeder.
Oh,
you know who the real shitty. Mate, go do that. That'd be hilarious if you did that.
Yeah, always good natured, good band, could distract the teacher. One of my best attributes was diverting the attention of a teacher through a question.
Yes,
so look like you're engaging,
especially a substitute teacher.
Oh, nightmare! Absolute nightmare.
This is our maths teacher, Mr. Pompey. He was. I think he was
Pompey.
I think it was Pompey. He was American substitute.
Yeah, and
he'd take us for maths in society. I was in
maths in society.
MIS. There was MIP, which my mates were in. That was the dumbest class. MIP.
What's MIP?
Maths in practice. So it's just your basic maths.
Yeah.
And then it was MIS, which is maths in society, and then it went 2-unit. Because I didn't want to do 3-unit maths because that was at lunchtime, and I wasn't going to give up my lunchtime to do 3-unit maths. So I just went and did maths in society.
Okay.
But Mr. Pompey, he was a sub teacher, and you just start asking him questions.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden the bell would go, and you wouldn't have done one bit of maths.
Cheers, sir.
See you, mate. Yeah.
Yep. There was one teacher in particular, I reckon at school, if you're a foreign language teacher, you've either got really engaged students or the complete opposite in disengagement. So we were disengaged in French and German, to say the least. Was basically just comedy hour for the good shit. But then some people used to take it a little bit too far, where they... I can remember this one teacher, they used to put... for maths, you'd have a protractor.
Yeah.
So you put the pencil in, you can make a true circle.
Yep.
Yeah. So they used to put that at the top of the blackboard or the whiteboard. So when he pulled the whiteboard down, that had fall.
You assholes. They'd stab him.
No,
it would stab him. It's because it's got the bloody...
It got to the point where the teacher would come in, and he'd knock the new stuff was there, so he'd knock the board every time he come in. That was his opening move. It was knock the board down, all the shit would fall off.
Good times. What school was that?
Days High School.
Days.
Yeah.
Co-ed?
DE co-ed. What do you mean?
Boys and girls?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
You weren't a private schooler, were you?
No, couldn't afford it.
No
way.
If you want to learn, you're going to learn, regardless.
Yeah. Do your kids go to private school?
No.
I reckon there's a fair bit to say that you get more out of
bang for your buck.
Well, not even bang for your buck. You just normal school is normal school, isn't it?
If you want to learn, you're going to learn.
A lot of the rugby players go to private school, don't they?
Correct. Here they do. Yeah.
And is it all boys as well?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to an all-boys school.
Did you?
For 3 weeks. I said, I'm out of here. Fairfield Patrician Brothers. Yeah.
And who made that call? You?
I was on a scholarship to go there. Yeah, so they came and they found me, and I went.
For sporting ability?
Rugby league ability, mate.
Yeah.
Or it could have been cricket or whatever.
So you were in there on a sports scholarship?
Yes. So I had to do a year 11 and 12 there. while I was playing SG ball for Parramatta.
You did 3 weeks.
I'm about 3 weeks. I said, I'm out of here.
Why?
Oh, slacks all year round, pants all year round. All year round.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like,
Man, I came from a high school where we wore grey Billabong shorts and a white polo.
Really?
Yeah. Mossvale High. Centre of Excellence in Agriculture. That's on the sign.
We used to have to, like, we were a normal school, but we had to wear tie and a blazer.
My boys are like that. Yeah.
Just
yes,
normal,
but no, we were the rough guts.
Yeah.
Southern Highlands, Mossvale. Yeah, and then you had Chevalier College and Oxley College.
Yeah. Did you have to wear shoes?
Shoes were optional, sometimes bare feet, you know.
No, but like
in the sticks.
proper shoes. Like,
no, I used to wear my Aerosport 3000s or my Converse Reacts.
Oh,
yeah.
right.
One of my mates had, what did they have? Reebok pumps.
Oh, the old
yeah, they were impressive.
Do you remember the
Puma disc?
He
was Chad Dealey was the same bloke. Not Chad. Chad Lammers was the same bloke that had those both shoes. And then he wore British Knights. Remember British Knights? Do you remember British Knights?
No.
He had Jordans. He had everything. No. Saucony discs.
Oh, Sauconys were.
Yeah,
yeah, they're great.
Yeah, he had them all.
Yeah,
yeah, but his Reebok pump was actually the tennis ball. You know the tennis ball?
No.
You know the Reebok pumps?
Oh,
you pump the tongue up.
Yeah,
it was the tennis ball fabric.
Oh,
yeah.
He must have had some money at home.
I don't think he must have.
Yeah. Or he was just robbing them.
Nah, he would have had some. No. I think he had some dough. I think he lived out at Medway.
Yeah, we one way to rebel was you had to wear black shoes, and I'd wear brown Lacoste. I think it was
Lacoste.
Yeah, oh mate, massive in Liverpool Lacoste.
We had rollers. Did you ever have rollers?
What are rollers?
Which were they were like a desert boot, but they were black, and the sole underneath it was all zigzagged.
Oh right, okay.
They were clunky black things.
Yeah,
that just were so painful. But if you trod in dog shit, you were screwed.
Oh right,
because you couldn't get it out because the grooves underneath.
Too many grooves. Yeah.
So you're there with a stick for ages trying to get it out.
Just wash it off.
Roll call.
Good times. No, I had
is that all we have time for?
Yeah, I had a great time at school. I
love school.
Like,
I tell my boys all the time, boys, enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah. Because as soon as you're out, it's. Yeah.
What I'd give for another year 10 German class, like the level of banter was
it was like
insane.
French, Miss Desitaine in French. I can count to 10, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Like, don't ask me anything else in French, but Miss Desitaine, she was French, could barely understand her.
Yeah.
Yeah. High school was so good.
It was the time of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Yeah.
So much fun.
Another example of being a good shit. So we'd have science class, every class would have gas taps. And you could turn them on and off and playing that game with the teachers. So you'd start going
with the Bunsen burner as well.
They didn't like it, turning the gas taps on unnecessarily, but you'd make that noise and you go turn the gas tap off. Hey, got ya. Hey, like just
you guys are crazy.
Could do that for and never get bored. Like at least 4 or 5 times a lesson. Or actually then turn it on and then be like, I know what you're doing. It's on, sir. Anyway.
Good times.
On that
Kids,
bombshell.
stay in school.
Time of your life.
Say no to drugs. Yeah.
Thanks, guys.